Hello, everybody. There are a couple of quick topics I want to talk about here in the interim between my longer videos, and they're all sort of semi-related. So I just thought I'd put up some gameplay from a recent online session of mine here in the background and talk to you guys a little bit. I've been thinking a lot about the fighting game community, the phenomenon of esports and the concept of selling out. And then another thing that happened this morning is I woke up and I had a lot of questions and comments from you guys asking, if there's some sort of fight going on between me and the main man, the Swedish Tekken player and content creator. If you know about me, then you definitely know about him. If there's some sort of argument behind the scenes because he's been saying things about me in his recent videos and stuff. And if we're going to start there, if you're curious to know what I think about Adrian, you should know that I have nothing but respect for the guy. I actually started trying to get good at Tekken quite recently during the sort of middle years of Tekken Tag 2. And back then, if you were looking for information online, there were all these guys in America who were talking about how they're going to offline events, they learn how to play Tekken in the arcade, they have tournaments, and online is not a valid game mode and stuff, and it sort of made me Tekken feel a little bit hopeless for me because I was isolated in the cold north of Sweden. I had never been in an arcade in my life and had never seen an arcade stick, and I was like, is there no point for me to try and become better at this game? But then there's this guy, the main man, who's a Swedish Tekken player just like me. He's crazy good, and he plays Mishimas from the left side on a stick and everything, which was so exotic and badass to me back then. And it's honestly probably a pretty big reason why I didn't give up and kept going with the game. Yeah, and probably an inspiration for why I decided to start making videos in the end as well. So I've been watching the main man for a long time, and I have nothing negative to say about the guy. He's my senior as a Tekken player as well. I mean, he was good back then when I was starting out pretty much with my first fighting game ever and didn't even know what a frame was. So if you were hoping that I was going to be like the Machine Gun Kelly to his Eminem and fire back here, then I'm going to have to disappoint you. I'm going to go to Sweden quite soon to visit my family, and if you were hoping that I was going to say that we were going to money match to settle this or something, then that's not going to happen, and even if it were, I would probably just lose. So there you go. I don't think that the main man genuinely dislikes me either. At least I don't hope so. I watched the videos he sent me, guys, and basically what he said was I made a tier list video a while ago, and he thought that was a little bit sell-outish, and I was going for the ad revenue, which is a valid argument because if you watch the video, the first thing I say is, I think it's a little bit early to make this video, but I got a lot of requests for it, so I'm going to do it anyway, which definitely sounds like I'm completely selling out. The next thing I say is that I thought a lot about whether or not it was really too early, and I think I had enough information that I could make a decent enough list, so I decided that it was okay to make it, and I hope you trust my integrity enough that you believe that that's true, and I hope if you are one of my regular viewers that you don't think that I have that kind of behavior. I have as a personal rule never asked anybody to like or subscribe to my channel or hit the bell or anything in any of my videos. It's something that I don't do on principle. I might have accidentally said it in one of my very first videos around then, because I was so new. I thought you basically had to when you made YouTube, but since then it's sort of been a personal rule of mine. As soon as I realized that you can make people come to your channel and subscribe just by trying hard to make things that you think they will like and putting a little bit of love into it, then that's what I've been trying to focus on. And I hope that shines through. Should be said that the very next thing the main man says is, and I also want ad revenue, so here's my own tier list video, basically self-deprecating himself to the same level. So I didn't get the impression that there's any genuine dislike for me there at all, and I hope I'm right about that. I mean, I might be wrong, but I would be very sad to know that the main man doesn't like me, because like I say, it's a guy I actually look up to quite a bit. And another thing I just need to say here is that he did a little impression of me, and that's something that I completely deserve, because I have actually done an impression of Main Man and imitated his Swedish accent before on my channel. And the reason I did that, it was like a little in-joke, because this is what I sound like when I speak English normally. I relax my jaw and I stop trying to hide my Swedish accent. This is exactly what I used to speak like before I left Sweden. I've just been spending so many years abroad at this point that I've gotten pretty good at hiding my Swedish accent. But because I'm from the exact same country, it's an accent that I can do, and I just thought it was a fun little party trick for that reason. It might make somebody laugh. So I did a little impression of him, completely uncalled for, completely out of the blue, and that was completely my bad. So don't be upset with him for doing an impression of me back. That's something I deserve. We've only had like one interaction ever. I've never met the guy, but the only sort of semi-interaction we've had is around New Year's last year, when I was very new to YouTube and content creation. I still am pretty new, but back then I was very new, and he was doing some community shoutouts, and he said in one of his videos that he had seen some of my stuff and he found it impressive, and I was so excited that I actually called my mom. Completely true story. And I was like, Mom, one of the biggest Tekken YouTubers in the world said he liked my stuff, and I was so excited, and I think I actually thanked him back in my New Year's greeting video that I did a couple of days later. So the only sort of semi interaction we've ever had before was of mutual respect right there. So like I say, I don't think there's a beef at all. So there you go. But this is also a community where people talk shit all the time, back and forth, and if you can't, if you're going to get upset and defensive as soon as somebody throws some shade your way, then you're not going to last in the Tekken community or as a player. Something that needs to be said about all the different Tekken YouTubers that I watch, whether it's King J, who's another great player. I go to him for all my Giga stuff. I love Gigas as a character. I used to play him a lot back in the arcade days. You should definitely check out his channel. I mean, if you know about me, again, you probably know about King J, but if you like Gigas and stuff, or whether it's Eris or the main man or anybody else, I think everybody, their sort of integrity seeps through. You can tell that they have a lot of personality. They sort of speak the same way they probably would if you met them offline. That's the impression I get anyway, and it makes me feel like the online community we have around Tekken is just especially nice. When I started making videos for YouTube, I was so scared. I was convinced that the first comment I was going to get was that my voice was annoying, that my English wasn't good enough, that my content was low quality. I remember how scared I was the first time I uploaded a video that had my face. I think I say at the beginning of that video, this is the first video with my face in it, and it's kind of scaring me because I was convinced people are going to call me ugly and stupid and stuff like that. But then you've sort of been impressing me with all just the love and support that I've gotten, like 98% positive feedback on this channel ever since then. And it's in this world where there is a lot of like whoring for ad revenue and a lot of smash that like button and the bell and whatever going on, a little bit of a light in the darkness for me has been just how nice my own viewership and my own community and just the Tekken online community as a whole is. I think it's especially nice and has a lot of integrity actually. So I think that might actually be a property of the game of Tekken. It's not a game that's conducive to you being arrogant. It's a game that forces you to be pretty humble. It's a game that's going to teach you patience, and if you are playing this game enough that you're making content on it, then that's a fire that you've walked through. And that's why I think people who play the game a lot and people who make content about it tend to be just a lot more agreeable than your average YouTuber. And I don't want to sound like I'm just completely sucking up to everybody here, but I genuinely don't have anything negative to say about basically any of the Tekken YouTubers out there. I think it's just a really cool thing to be a small part of personally. But the reason this was on my mind for two other reasons that I mentioned is two things that happened earlier this week. I saw one very good video by a channel called Core A Gaming that was about the FGC, and they talked about the concept of selling out and staying free and retaining your integrity, and sort of compared people who do sell out in the FGC to the Catholics during the Protestant Reformation of Christianity in Europe, which was a very interesting analogy, but it was a super good video. If you haven't seen it, very enjoyable. I will link it in the description if you missed it. But that made me think about it. And then another thing that happened is I think that YouTube, because I'm creating content now and I'm getting a little bit of a following on YouTube, the great robot, the great algorithm is spitting slightly different ads my way. So when I watch YouTube, I'm getting a lot of ads right now that seem to be targeted towards content creators. And some of the ads I'm seeing and emails that I'm getting are actually leaving me with a little bit of a bad feeling in my stomach. Especially one of them, there's this ad where a guy comes up and he goes, "Hi, I'm Kong," and I'm paraphrasing, but it's something like he specializes in making people's successes on YouTube. And then he goes, "Here's a crappy animated video I made that got over 500,000 views on YouTube," and I just remember almost choking on my lunch right there, because he just completely admits in that video that he thinks that his own video is crappy, and then he wants to market and advertise the fact that he made 500,000 people watch it anyway, which sort of makes me feel like he's proud about of the fact that, you know, he didn't make something that he had, you know, any faith or love for, and he basically made 500,000 people waste their time on something that not even he believes in. And that is actually something that I feel is really quite dark, and made me uneasy about the whole, you know, YouTube content creator thing. Then there's another ad that shows up where there's a guy who makes hyper casual mobile games, you know, for the App Store, and he's talking about, you know, these games that are crushing the App Store, but they look like they were thrown together in a week. So again, he's like talking about the content like if it's crappy, and trying to advertise the fact that he can make people spend their time and money on it anyway. And that's something that I feel is like genuinely morally reprehensible, and especially on a platform where you have so many young people. I mean, if you look at the demographics of my channel, vast majority of my viewers are in their late 20s or early 30s. So, you know, guys our age, we're a little bit more jaded and we know more about the fuckery that goes on in the world. But you look at all the young people who are already addicted to, you know, social media and all this technology, being inundated by advertising, people telling them to do things, support things, you know, channel loyalty and all the rest of it. And it actually makes me feel a little bit sick to my stomach. But you should know that I am a person who has a lot of anxiety about that kind of thing. I am a little bit of a tinfoiler. That's why I don't have a Twitter, you know, I don't have a Discord, I don't do Twitch, I actually don't even own a smartphone right now, and that's something that annoys my friends. I'm not trying to, you know, virtue signal here or anything, but that's genuinely the kind of person I am, and that's why I kind of keep my interaction with you guys to YouTube, because there's a nice sort of separation between all the craziness on the internet and the stuff that I put out there. But yeah, that's sort of what was on my mind and what I wanted to talk about. And I just wanted to say that I think my community, now that we're about to pass, I think 15,000 subscribers within a week or two, it's very exciting. I'm so grateful, and I genuinely do believe that I have one of the most just kind and supportive viewerships on YouTube, and I really appreciate you guys, and I'm not trying to just suck up to you. I genuinely do mean that. Now I'm going to go back to the actual content I'm making for you right now, the Miguel guide that I've been preparing. It's almost ready. It's going to go up tomorrow. It's evening here right now. I think I said good morning at the beginning of the video, but it's about 6 o'clock in the evening here in Japan. So tomorrow morning or so I'm going to be uploading the video, and I'm hoping that it's going to be the best tutorial, that I've made so far. I've been listening to your feedback. I'm gonna, you know, turn on command history for the combo section. I'm gonna have proper time codes in the description and everything. It's gonna be longer than anything I've made so far, and it is a remake of my original Miguel guide, which is the first YouTube video that I ever made. So it is a little bit of a special video for me, and I've been enjoying making it. I really do hope you like it. And I hope it doesn't come across as some sort of attempt to trick you into watching my channel or support it for some other reason than that you think it's a good video. That's going to be it for now. I'm sorry I rambled a little bit in this one. I'm definitely, after all this talk about ad revenue, I'm definitely going to demonetize this video. I don't think there was anything that can be called interesting content in this one, but yeah, thank you so much for watching. There's no beef. I'm not angry at anybody, and I'm just really happy and having fun making YouTube for you guys. So thanks for being here. I'll see you guys again very soon. Bye for now.